Hello and welcome back to the Bitch Why Are We Friends podcast. As always, I am your host, Cece, and with me is your other host, Didi.
Not a co-host, just the other host.
The other. It sounds like maybe we share a parasite.
This is the parasite. The show.
This show is a parasite.
Yeah. I'd like to personally give a personal shout out to our 8 faithful followers, listeners, whatever they're called.
They could also be followers. We don't know.
Stalkers.
Or it could be a different 8 people every week.
That would be odd.
It would be, but I mean, I don't know how the internet works.
I don't either.
A series of tubes, I believe.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
So you mentioned the internet, which is something that I was going to bring up, but what are we talking about this week?
Oh, what are we talking about this week? What aren't we talking about this week?
You took the words out of my mouth.
Good. Well, what we're talking about this week is basically things that have gone from being sort of like fringe culture, and they've been picked up by the mainstream, and they've become more or less pop culture. And you know, just what happens to our interests when they go from being fringe to mainstream and popular.
And you mentioned the internet, and I think that's the one that irks me the most, because in the mid to late 90s, as I've said before, only geeks and military and perverts were on the internet, and now everyone has one in their back pocket, and I think it's ruined. Completely ruined.
Too many people are now using the internet, and you don't like it.
Totally. When I started using the internet when I was 15, 16, everybody thought I was either someone with no life or a pervert. And
you can be both.
The small part of it, the small, population of people that used it, it was like a little club, and now fucking everyone used it. And if you don't use it, now you're a weirdo. So now I despise going online now.
Right. That's interesting how it's kind of the opposite.
It's just now all the sheeple are on the internet, and I'm looking around like, I remember when you people used to think this was weird. So
yeah, well, who's laughing now? Not you, apparently.
No. And in that thread, the whole concept of being a nerd or a geek or a weirdo, back when I was growing up, those were negative things. And now every hot girl or whatever girl is like, I'm such a geek. I'm such a girl geek.
Right. And wearing glasses that don't actually have a prescription. Oh, but they filter out the blue light. Bull fucking shit they do. That is not why you're wearing them.
Or I play Candy Crush for 24/7. I'm a girl gamer. I'm a gamer.
Shut
girl.
up. I never said that.
No, I know you. But people, call themselves gamers. Girls call us. Oh, no, I'm just being rude. But there's some things.
So what you're saying is you can't play games on your phone and be a gamer, or you can't play only one game and call yourself a gamer?
I'm saying if you don't have a history of gaming,
right?
I don't know if I'd call someone a gamer. And there's so many girls out there on certain platforms just like, I'm a hot girl and I play games, game. Or I have a game playing in the background while you're watching, but I'm not actually playing it. Ergo, I'm a gamer girl.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Okay, but what if I used to play Super Mario Brothers as a kid, and now I play Candy Crush? Can I call myself a gamer?
Sure. Hey, I'm not trying to dig into people. There's just some people who
not even me.
Well, I feel kind of bad. Like, I can just see you taking a crap on the toilet playing Candy Crush. Like, I don't know why. I don't want to kill your, anyways. I don't know why. Something's off on me. I'm too nice these days, but
Maybe you need like blood work done. Maybe you have a vitamin deficiency, a vitamin bitch
yeah.
deficiency.
It might just be simple vitamin D because I haven't been outside in 3 weeks. But yeah, there's some things that irk me that people have ruined, I would say. I think a personal one would be thrift store clothes and thrifting. Because growing up, I had to wear thrift store clothes and hand-me-downs, and I went thrifting with my mom because it was something we did, and everybody at school, pointed and laughed. And now it's like, you're not cool unless you got your duds in the thrift store. You didn't go thrift your clothes? You're not cool.
Well, and the prices have gone way up. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, people have realized that everybody does it, and now they're making tons of money. And who knows if it's going to poor people, good causes.
Probably, definitely, probably, certainly not. Is my guess.
Yeah. I heard of a really weird fringe to mainstream. I don't know if you can actually put it in this category, but soup is really popular. Why is soup popular? Why did soup explode? I don't know.
Is it? I mean, I have been eating soup like
yeah, some people just ate soup, but it wasn't like burgers and pizza, it wasn't like a big thing. But now everywhere I look, everybody's fucking talking about soup.
Really?
Like young people are talking about their soup. Even when we talked to your friend, she was telling us some of her lingo, and there was
good soup.
Yeah, there was a soup mention. Soup is cool.
Well, fuck all of you for ruining soup.
Well, the thing is that some people, somehow popularity does ruin things. I did notice when, and I'm not tooting our own horns because we're millennials, but I remember when millennials got their beards into the beer, and they actually started making some really fucking good beer and some good whiskeys and scotches and stuff like that. So I have to, but the thing is they also killed certain trends. They sort of pushed the hops, the really hoppy hop stuff, and some of the the less hoppy beers. Actually, liquor stores around here don't even carry certain ones that we were looking for because people just don't want them anymore. So there again, they've pushed forward really good craft beers and they pushed it mainstream, but then also they've killed part of it that I really liked. So
it seems like monetization is a big part of what ruins it when things go from fringe to mainstream. It's because everybody's now trying to make a bunch of money off of it.
Exactly.
And it just goes too far. Like IPA, they're not good. I don't even drink anymore, and I remember that. It's not good beer.
Some can be.
Okay, yeah, fine. Some can be good, but like there are too many IPAs, and this is just even like I get it. I don't get to talk because I don't drink anymore. And
no,
whatever.
You you're an adult that has a drinking history. You can speak about
I do have a drinking history, and IPAs, they can absolutely suck it.
Every fucking beer has like chocolate and coffee in it these days. Seriously, fuck off. Yeah, making a buck. I noticed that Carhartt's is like that. My dad works in Carhartt's because he fucking works. That's why he wears Carhartt's, because he works. And all these people, people, travel bloggers that wear the Carhartt toques and stuff to look cool. I'm like, do you go to work every day? And like, you can.
I saw a meme about that the other day. And yeah, it was more or less what you're saying now. Yeah. Well, apparently, according to my numbers, approximately 70% of people said that when their fringe interests, their fringe tourists, go mainstream.
Oh, that was bad. It was good but bad. Like, fuck you for making me say that fucking word in my head. But
I am not editing that out either. Maybe I will. We'll see. But for 70% of people, it ruined that particular interest
Mm-hmm.
for them,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was music or fashion or film or TV related or whatever.
Does it ruin it for you? I'm curious.
It really depends because, and I was thinking about this over the past week and longer actually than just the past week. And I think that there are some, like there's, for instance, a really big one for me that used to be, I mean, it's whatever. It's been fringe, but not super fringe. And, it depends, but weed,
Mm-hmm.
right? There was a time when smoking weed was like, you might as well be doing heroin kind of thing.
Exactly. Yep.
And then there was, I mean, that's obviously not during our lifetimes, although there are some people who definitely feel that way. But it was kind of like, like it wasn't a club drug. It wasn't, like I remember when I was in high school, it wasn't the quote popular kids who were smoking pot, at least not
Mm-hmm.
openly. It was sort of like the grungy stoners.
Yeah,
And
they call them stoners and dope heads and stuff.
right,
It's a whole,
exactly. And
yeah.
this was even like, this was late 90s, early 2000s even. And
Mm-hmm.
now, though, I feel like at least here and in a lot of different parts of the world, it's really gone mainstream to the point where it's like, I mean, it's medicine
Yeah.
for a lot of
It,
people. And that in itself doesn't ruin it for me.
no.
I like that. I think it always should have been that mainstream because it really does help people and it is a lot safer than a lot of the other shit that people are using out there
Mm-hmm.
to cope or whatever, that there are really hugely beneficial things about it. One thing that does ruin it for me about how mainstream it's gotten is the over packaging. And like,
Yeah.
when I remember when it was sort of in a gray area legally in Canada, and you kind of had to like self-diagnose at a dispensary and be like, yes, I have this medical condition which entitled me and whatever, and you could
Yep.
only pay cash and stuff, but like you could see what you were buying. You could see the big jar of
Mm-hmm.
buds. You could see the pre-rolls were just coming out of a big jar of pre-rolls that somebody was rolling up in the back and would go into a little Ziploc. You could bring your own baggie or be like, no, it's okay, I don't need a baggie or whatever. And it just wasn't that big of a deal. And now it's unrecognizable. I don't
Yeah.
even know what I'm buying. I can't see it, I can't smell it. Even the bud tenders can't see it or smell it. It's been pre-packaged, and I get it, fine. Like it's because it's fully legalized now and the government needs their cut, but that part has kind of ruined it for me. It's the
Mm-hmm.
government that it's not regular people making it mainstream, it's the government making it mainstream that ruined it for me.
And not only is it inconvenient for a shopper not to be able to smell their products, but also some of the packaging you've shown me is just fucking hilarious. It's just, why would they use a giant container with this tiny little, I mean, they have
Right.
to use, but it's ridiculous. Some of the things you've shown me. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and like some of it I get, like, child-proof packaging, fine. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cool. I get
Yeah, I
it.
get that. Just
Like,
like drugs, regular drugs.
right, like a Tylenol bottle is the same way, and I'm fine. I get it. Kids shouldn't be, eating all of your pre-rolls or your gummies
Not.
or whatever. But honestly, now that I'm saying this and thinking about it, the same thing has kind of happened with a lot of like plant-based foods,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you're trying to be more, I'm going to reduce my carbon footprint, so I'm going to eat tofu instead of meat. But the tofu still comes wrapped in this unrecyclable plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And also soy is not the most like,
Yeah.
sustainable crop the way it's
Yeah.
farmed and the amount that it's produced. But anyway, like I don't know, I think that that's sort of happened too with things like vegetarianism and veganism and like, oh, these shoes are vegan leather. And it's like, yeah, that just means plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
You ruined it.
Yeah. Yeah. And with more people switching over because it's, you know, it has gained traction and exploded, there will be more packaging in that way. And with the, I have to admit, with the pot store, it is nice to go, you know, go to the drugstore and buy your toiletries and go to the other drugstore, which is right next door, and buy your medication.
And it should be accessible. Like, I get it.
Yeah, it is. I get that there are things there are things that I really love about it, because you walk in and there are just, you know, an array of different people there that are there for their medication. And it's so easy. It's just like going to buy some milk, you know, your necessities. But I agree with you about the packaging. It's just fucking ridiculous. And
it's obnoxious.
And just packaging in general.
Exactly. And again, I think it comes back to, if people weren't trying to capitalize on the trend of going plant-based and that sort of thing, it wouldn't have come to this. And it's the same with weed too. Like, it goes so against the ethos of it, which is not about being a shameless capitalist. It's like the opposite of that. And the same thing with, you know, eating a plant-based diet. But when it becomes too popular, too mainstream, the wrong kind of people get their little tendrils into it and turn it into something where it's like,
that just sucks across the board. I mean, why are you using all of this bullshit? We don't need all of that bullshit, all the packaging, all the name brands and stuff like that. It just seems ridiculous. And
I remember when old Dutch chips used to come in a bag inside a box.
Yes, 2 bags to a box.
Like cereal.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just sell fucking smaller bags and people will buy 2 of them or whatever. But they don't even do that anymore. So.
But also the keto people use them.
Condoms?
Yeah, the flavored ones especially, they use as replacement bubble gum. So they just chew it because it has no sugar in it.
No, that's not true.
It's a keto hack. 0 carbs.
That's disgusting. That can't be true. You're fucking with me.
That's another thing, is diets. Diets definitely explode on.
Tell me that's not true. Tell me.
You'll have to try it yourself to see if it's true.
No, I'm not.
Hey, you can blow bubbles. So when you were polling people, do you? No, I'm not talking about that.
I always use a condom.
That's good, because you don't know who's going to answer you. No, I'm just curious. Did they mention specifically what they were, the types of things that they were?
Yes, a few people did give specifics. And sorry, I'm still recovering from having
keto bubble gum
and having polled all those people.
Oh yeah. I sure hope you were safe.
Always. Yeah, definitely. There were some people got very specific. In fact, some of them were things like from back, you know, like when we were kids. So for instance, wearing a striped tie over a white t-shirt, very sort of like, well, I was going to say very Avril Lavigne, because she took that look and like, yeah, like
vest and a hat.
Skater wear, basically. So I have it on good authority that Avril Lavigne ruined certain fashion trends.
Oh, Avril Lavigne ruined it. Okay, I see.
Yeah, Avril Lavigne. Yeah, that was a thing. It was obviously people were dressing like that.
You're right. She rocketed it to stardom.
Yeah, because she would wear that stuff on like red carpets, which was kind of cool because it was different and she wasn't, you know.
Right. She's our Billie from back in the day.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's funny because she actually grew up very close to where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And she would talk about going shopping for like cool skater clothes in my hometown, because her hometown
Right.
is even tinier than mine. And I remember being like, fucking tool.
Yeah, so that is true. Celebrities are vehicles of, taking fringe things and making them explode, and sometimes
Yeah.
not so nicely.
Right? Exactly. Or, right. And I guess they're not necessarily always solely responsible for it. Maybe they're just trying to be themselves, and people latch on to that. But I still get where the frustration comes from, where like all of a sudden you can't actually know someone
Yeah,
who's got
you're trying to be Avril Lavigne. No, I was wearing this
right.
before. We have a common trendsetter friend. I laugh because she's interested in a lot of different things, and she has been for a really long time. Just, I can't even specifically, music, clothes, art, just all these types of different things. And it's hilarious when things explode on her, because, I know that she doesn't like it. And it's just, just her sarcasm calling herself a trendsetter, because I think that she, it ruins it for her in the same way. Yeah.
It totally ruins it for her every time too. And you just know she'll tell you about something she's really into, and you're like, 3, 2, 1,
Yeah,
ruined.
exactly. The funny thing is that she gets to see the explosion. I get to pick up the pieces. I always come in and like somebody late to the party where I'm walking, I'm like, hey guys, this is really cool. I like this music. And they're like, it's dead. It's dying. And so I get to see the ends of trends when they die. And it's an interesting time to come into something, because the heat is off, everybody's gone. It's a little bit lonely, but I'm used to it, and it's okay. It's an interesting place to be. I actually would rather be at the end of a trend than where she is, because yeah.
Like bringing it back as opposed
No, I would
no?
never. I'm not cool enough to bring things back. I just sift through the ashes and just like, you're cool, I like you still, like don't listen to those people, they just cast you off and they're not going to use you anymore. Like bushy eyebrows, apparently bushy eyebrows are back out.
Oh, they've been back for like years. Where the fuck were you?
Back
Oh,
out.
back
They're back
out.
out. Yeah,
They're
they're back.
not in anymore.
No, apparently
Oh,
they're not in anymore.
for fuck's sake.
So you better start trimming.
God
But
damn it.
it's just that's the thing. I like being really out of it, because then when I clue in, it's like nobody else has bushy eyebrows and I've just been letting them grow, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, it's an interesting place to be, and
Yeah.
I like it. I like that I'm really slow.
Like how like a sloth. Like how I finally got into skinny jeans and like could accept the way my body looked in skinny jeans, and now all of a sudden they're not cool.
Exactly. You might be a trend sifter. You might be like me. You might come in at the end and sift through the garbage.
Or am I a trend killer? Because
that's it. She's a trendsetter. You're a trend killer. I come in and try to look through, yeah.
You get our sloppy seconds.
Yeah, exactly. We just need someone to fill in the blank between trendsetter and trend killer. Someone who actually,
someone who's trendy.
Someone who spikes the trend. Someone who,
right.
Takes it to new heights. So
we need to start hanging out with celebrities. Or we need to become celebrities.
Yeah. I pick H. John.
Yeah. As a celebrity that you want him to pick up.
I want him to spike some trends.
Bald with beard and glasses.
Yeah. And just sort of a blasé, voice.
Yeah.
To go with it. I think that Well, actually, that was sort of what the hipster movement was about. So
Exactly.
the meh.
He's also a sifter. He's one of your fellows. He's one of your fellow sifters.
Scavenger.
A culture scavenger.
Exactly.
Oh,
Sift
maybe
through the
right?
rubble.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so while you technically might be right in using the term hipsters, for people who sort of get pissed off and say, the typical, I was doing this before this was cool. But there's a fundamental difference in kind of how I see it. I actually want to share the things I love with others.
Yeah, no, the whole thing about being a hipster is that you're like upset that other people like your stuff.
Yes.
Like even if it isn't your stuff to like, just the mere fact that you like it. And no, so like I'm not. I think honestly, I think hipsters are trend killers.
Yeah. Well, as far as like entertainment, I want people to listen to largely unknown bands and films. I think it's good for people to broaden their scope, and it's good for the bands and the filmmakers, the small time, And what I don't like is ultimately just the nature of the beast. What usually eventually happens or can happen when something that was small becomes huge.
Capitalism, basically.
Yeah, when it's introduced to a much bigger population too, there are bound to be people who will try to ruin it in some aspect and succeed.
Exploitation. For monetary gain.
Well, I can't remember which artist it was. Maybe it was even a band. I don't remember, but somebody I really liked that wasn't even that popular got canceled in the early part of cancel culture, and I was just like, and it sort of I thought it was a band because it made their music sort of fizzle out, and I was just like, fuck, because like I don't give a shit. I can't remember why they got canceled, but it was just a fucking dumb reason. And I was just, why? Like, they never did anything. I mean, in that way, when things get big, there's a bigger audience for them to disappoint. And then that audience can kill it. So,
right?
Yeah, in that way, I'm not sure. Exactly. So,
yeah.
So what would your celebrity choice be to hop onto?
I don't even know. I suddenly can't think of a single celebrity I've ever heard of. or who I heard of and liked.
What's a celebrity? Exactly. I put you on the spot.
Yeah, we had this issue last week too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it depends on what the thing is. Like I'm trying to think, who would I really appreciate and respect for coming out as a huge stoner? That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. That could make it even explode higher than what it is right now.
Right. Honestly, I think it would have to be someone. I feel like people our age and younger, it's as like it's pretty big already, but like maybe like Dame Judi Dench. If she were I've been roasting bones and smoking bowls every day since forever.
I'm there for that. I like that one. It's sort of like when I really wanted Martha Stewart to do that too, because she's already she's already right there. She's already friends with Snoop, and I really wanted to and she can have a nice little pot garden, and Snoop can help her cultivate it and smoke it. And
I honestly would be surprised if she doesn't,
but not publicly so
far. Exactly. But she's I feel like, see, Judi Dench has nothing to lose. Martha Stewart still has something to lose, unfortunately.
But she could gain so many people, like with weed recipes. She could make some really good, pot meals.
It's true.
Maybe she just needs a little bit longer.
Yeah. No, she probably does need a little bit longer.
It's because of the states,
Yeah. Oh, right. Exactly. That's a big part of it. Okay, so one of the things that somebody mentioned was like gender bending fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So like, well, I don't know if Freddie Mercury is a great kind of. He was, or like David Bowie, people like that,
David Bowie
who
was probably
way
one of,
more
yeah.
in terms of his whole appearance. But like now, I mean, there's like RuPaul's Drag Race, and again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's definitely gone from being something very fringe. Like if you want to see drag queens, like you have to go to a specific club on a specific night or like know the right people. And now you literally just turn on, whatever channel it's on, or you can stream it on Netflix and it's just there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess just in that regard, it increases visibility sometimes. Like it definitely attracts more people who are trying to monetize it. Obviously, like people are making a lot of money off of things like Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
But it raises awareness, it increases visibility, it,
Mm-hmm.
like, and regardless of, I know that there are different opinions out there about men dressing in drag. Not every man who dresses in drag is, is trying to is whatever has empowering women on their mind.
Right.
And for sure, in some ways, it can be like wearing a costume and
A
maybe
caricature of a woman.
right and I
To an extent.
totally right and so I can totally see both sides where
But that also
where
doesn't,
it depends on who's doing it and how they're doing it.
yeah. But also it doesn't offend me when people do caricatures. I don't care
Right.
if people, do this is my impersonation of a woman. As a woman, I don't care. It's like, oh, that's interesting. That's art to me. That's
Right.
your interpretive, you know, it doesn't, I
Right,
don't care.
right, right. Right, because it doesn't necessarily mean that it's derogatory.
No, and it's embellished. I mean, it's supposed to be. It's theater. I think my chosen vehicle, celebrity vehicle to skyrocket this trend would be Michael C. Hall, actually, because he was in Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and he is, I don't know if you've seen him dressed up as in makeup and stuff, but it's quite something. But even in his band, he wears a lot of, eye makeup. So if anybody wants to see Michael C. Hall in black eyeliner and stuff like that, definitely watch his band's videos because yikes. And I don't mean yikes in a bad way. I mean like ovary exploding yikes. If you're a fan of his.
He's done a lot in his career to bring certain things more into the mainstream. Serial killing,
Definitely.
for sure. Being a redhead.
He has those ginger genes, apparently. Yeah.
He does have those ginger genes. Yeah,
Speaking of ruining things.
Right. Do you have something that ruins something? Because I have something that ruins something.
No, go ahead. What ruins something?
Well, this is
really succinct.
I'll edit it so it works. Kim Kardashian promoting cryptocurrency.
I did not know. Oh, she's a lawyer now, or she's going to be a lawyer.
Right? She's ruined being a lawyer. she's ruined having plastic surgery.
Okay.
And now she's ruining crypto, apparently.
Yeah. I know something she's ruined.
Yeah.
Having big hips and bum.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure she did not get that. Like, that's something that she had altered.
Yeah, that's fine. But when people look at you and they're like, oh yeah, you like your butt big like a Kardashian. I'm like, what? No, I've been a fat ass all my life. This is like, I was born with this. These are the same roles I had when I was a toddler. It's just they think that you're like trying to go for that Kardashian body when actually you're just fat ass.
You were born with a license for that dump truck.
But not a license to dump it anywhere. I don't know what that means.
I don't want to know. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like really the real issue here is not so much popularity as the exploitation for financial gain that comes with popularity.
And how it gets popular, like
Yeah.
how it comes to be.
Well, I don't think we can do anything about that. I mean, revolution, but actually, I would like to see that become more mainstream.
Tearing down trends.
No, just like, tearing down like capitalist states.
Right. Anarchy.
Yeah, I would
You
like
want
to see
anarchy.
I would like to
That's
see,
actually
yeah.
very close to becoming mainstream, actually, because of especially environmentalism and activism and stuff. I'd say actually it's on its way. It's maybe not in the States. Yeah, we should get our trendsetter friend and get her to gain interest in some of these
Right? Are you sure you're not an anarchist? You
Yeah.
sure that you don't want to eat the rich?
So I would be curious, even though we are doing our episode now, I would actually still be curious about other people's thoughts on things that maybe they either want to push out to so that the mass of our planet population grabs hold of it, or things that they would rather keep to themselves. I would still like to know.
Yeah, and I definitely think that there are some things that people are trying to keep to themselves, and it's pretty dickish of them to do that.
I can see why they'd want to, but it's also completely unrealistic because we have billions of people now. So
Yeah.
when anybody starts a conversation with like, am I the only one? Like, fuck no, you're not the only one. There's billions of us. Of course you're not the only one. There are others.
Right?
So many others that have found
yeah.
this little tiny niche thing that you think is yours, and it doesn't make you special. The things that you like, and even the things that you think and do, don't really make you special, because lots of people, I mean, we know through internet memes and this fucking internet thing that's now in everybody's house, that everybody pretty much thought the same exact thing throughout childhood and teenage years. We all had the same thoughts.
Yeah.
So no, we're not really that special except for our fingerprints. So
yeah, exactly. Don't koalas also have fingerprints that are very similar to humans?
I didn't know
remember
that.
seeing some sort of meme about that.
I did read that polar bears are 10 feet tall standing up.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's too tall.
When you look at it scale from human to polar bear, it's like, I'm dead. There's no way. I'd probably die. It'd be interesting to see an NBA player compared to a polar bear, because they wouldn't be that much different. They're nearly 10 feet tall.
Yeah, but the polar bear wouldn't be as good at basketball.
Unless he grew up playing basketball.
That's a good point. Yeah, so maybe they're probably better at basketball because they just kill the shit out of everybody.
What was I? Oh man.
No, you know who needs to stop? Who really fucking ruined something that was cool and fun and good? Travel bloggers.
Oh yes. Tell me about that.
No, like you go to one cool place and like there's not a ton of people there, but it's nice and everybody's like just chill and happy, and then you go back a few years later and there's just a bunch of fucking douchebags all convinced that they're somehow adding something to this place that they've only ever taken things from.
Do you think that because of them, places have become gentrified that wouldn't have? Like, yes. Maybe you've been there several times, and you would go to a little restaurant and it'd be the same family that ran it for ages, and then years later, as it explodes, you find that they can't pay rent, so now that's been redeveloped and looks like shit.
Yeah, or you go and you stay at like a nice little hostel somewhere on like a quiet beach or whatever, and then you come back and it's all these massive fucking developments and the money. Like, yeah, sure, there are people will argue that there are more jobs in the community and it's whatever, but I don't really know that that's our place to make that argument. Like, a lot of those jobs in the community aren't necessarily making people's
Mhm.
lives better, and a lot of those people have come from other places to get those jobs
Yeah.
when maybe they could have gotten jobs where they already lived, like whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna.
There are legitimate reasons to travel. There are wonderful reasons to travel. Blogging doesn't really seem a good enough reason to waste jet fuel and resources just so you can take a fucking picture and then tell all of your followers to go. And so
Right.
all of your followers go, and then you all spread disease.
Right. And just like the disease of being an asshole.
Exactly. Not even knowing, not even caring about the
No.
language
No,
that
you're there
people
for a
speak
photo.
where
Yeah.
you're going.
Right.
You
You're there
just
for a
want to
photo op.
trample and take photos and get followers, and that's bullshit.
And make other people feel inadequate because they haven't been there. Or you hear, oh, there's a struggle, there's a struggling country or a struggling community, and I'm going to go there and help save them. Like, save
Hmm.
your white savior bullshit for your own fucking country.
Yeah, I
Like,
think actually, when it comes down to it, I think that travel bloggers are probably one of the absolute worst things to explode into mainstream, pretty much.
okay, fine. Like, people travel, they talk about places that they've been. I don't think that there's anything wrong with sharing experiences and sharing details about your experiences, but traveling for the sole purpose of being able to share it with other people so that they can go and do the same thing
Hmm.
is like, what a disgusting world to live in.
I'm about to save you, not you, but anybody listening, a lot of money and the environment because you have to fly there. All you have to do is get Photoshop, and you can fucking Photoshop yourself next to the Eiffel Tower or wherever you want, and then you can just post that. It's a lie, anyways. So why not just Photoshop yourself, save all the trouble? Nobody gives a shit if it's real. You don't even know these people.
Spend that money on the therapy you so desperately need to help deal with the fact that you need other people's approval so badly.
So yeah, that's a good one. Thanks for bringing that up right at the end here.
Well, think of it as the gem on the end of the butt plug that is this episode.
The gem being your tooth. Don't forget that.
The tooth gem on the butt
Tooth
plug that
gem.
is this episode. That's the perfect
And
ending.
exactly. And we will see you 8 assholes next week.